A while back I made a video comparing the timing of animations based on different points of view. While this video was pretty interesting while getting the timings for it, I was more intrigued with the difference of the peak itself in these clips, and not just the animation. Or maybe I just want to leech off the video's success. Who knows? Basically, I wanted to see who gets the advantage on peaks with different amounts of latency, aka I want to see how lag affects peak engagements. First, I wanted a control group. There's pretty much close to no lag between players on a LAN connection, so hopefully this serves as a good blank slate. Now in a perfectly controlled experiment, I would suppose we want a perfectly fair peak, where two people are equidistant and equal angle to the wall blocking their visions. However, since normal CSGO is far from this, I decided it would be better to see the timings on a real map. The main result I'll be taking is the difference between the players seeing each other, as in, how much time does player A see player B without player B seeing player A, and vice versa. While the timings may not all have a zero difference on LAN between the peaker and the defender, since we're just comparing the times on different latency amounts, this should be a fine control group. So what happened? Well, not much. Which is a good thing. Out of the 5 common positions where the op battles can happen, there was a 133 millisecond advantage for the defender, meaning in all these fights combined, the defender saw the peaker, while the peaker didn't see the defender for a total of 133 milliseconds. Here were the exact timings I had. If a time is negative, that means the defender saw the peaker in that time before the peaker saw the defender, and if it's positive, that means the peaker had the advantage in their favor. Someone may be wondering why tunnels had an advantage for the defender where T-spawn didn't. This is a good question. After all, the farther someone is from an angle, the better their view of the angle is compared to someone who is closer to it. It probably has to do with the animations when we crouch. When someone crouches, their body shifts a bit to the left, which is a bit hard to see, but under a test, this does become clear. While the bot terrorist faces me behind the wall, their left side is completely hidden. However, as they crouch, it suddenly peeks out. So as a result of this, if someone peeks to their left, then this means they're exposing a bit more of their body before they can see the angle compared to if they're crouching to the right. It's still kind of weird how there's no time difference for T-spawn, since the defender has such a large advantage. Perhaps the crouching right negates the whole viewing thing? Who knows? Actually, probably somebody does. Anyway, on to comparing lag. What happens when the defender has 50 ping while the peaker has none? It turns out the defender still has the advantage with a bit more time on their side than it was on LAN. This time, there is one peak that did go in the peaker's way, but for the most part, despite having worse ping, the defenders still held their own as well as they did on LAN. When we amp up this defender's lag to 120 ping though, everything quickly turns south. In this case, there was an overall 368 millisecond advantage for the peaker, meaning the peaker saw the defender for this time without the defender seeing the peaker. This means people will seem to react a lot quicker than if you were having normal ping, meaning it will be harder for you to win gunfights in a subtle way if you're defending with more ping. Now, what most people are interested in. Do you have an advantage if you're lagging and you peak? Well, maybe? But if you have a considerable amount of lag, then not at all. At 50 ping for the peaker and 0 for the defender, the person peaking overall had 34 milliseconds over the defender. This in itself is pretty small, but when considering this is combined with the assumed default 133 millisecond advantage the defender has based on the LAN timings, then this changes more than 150 milliseconds compared to the LAN test. So does this advantage widen whenever you have more ping for the peaker? No, absolutely not. On 120 ping, for some reason, the timing does a complete 180, where the overall defender has 767 milliseconds over the peaker in total. Out of 5 clips, there was almost a whole second where the peaker didn't see the defender, despite the opposite being true. I was so shocked by this, I had to make sure these results were correct, as at first I used net fake lag for these. When repeating peaks with the Catawar, who has a similar ping in real life, the same results happened, meaning it's probably consistent. In conclusion, in these certain angles, which hopefully represent a lot more of the engagements in CSGO matches, if a defender has low ping, then they'll have the same amount of time advantage as they do on LAN. However, when the peaker has a bit more lag than the defender, in this case 50, the lag actually works out in the peaker's way, or at least gets rid of the defender's advantage. However, both results flip as you get into large latency, with 120 ping on the defender sending the advantage clearly to the peaker, and 120 ping for the peaker without a doubt giving a huge advantage to the defender. This isn't the only factor when it comes to peaking though, as it appears that anticipation has a significant factor to gunfights also. Click on the end screen annotation to find out what I mean.